before the citizens of Moorish America. The bylaws. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on the Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on the Friday the first man departed out of flesh, and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause Friday is a holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all citizens of Moorish America. No citizen is to put in danger and accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all. They may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. No organization of Moorish America is to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality. We are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865, during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All citizens must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of Moorish America. Moorish Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of Moorish America. And then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, peace and blessings be upon him, founding father and framer of the divine constitution and bylaws of Moorish America. And with this recitation of the divine constitution and bylaws, I would like to turn this meeting over to Denjurania Kurtabay for her portion of the meeting.
Islam. I am Dr. Denjurania Kurtabay. First, let me rise and give praises to our great God Allah. I give honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to Act 1. I give honors to all my government officials, and I give honors to our National Assistant Grand Chief for this research class, and I give honors to Dr. Bati Bey for opening us up according to law and reading our bylaws and constitution. I will be reading our chapter of the week, chapter 36, coming from our Holy Quran. And it reads, Yehoshua receives the news of his father's death, writes a letter to his mother. One day, as Yehoshua stood beside the gates, busy with his work, a caravan returning from the west drew near. And one approaching Yehoshua said, We come to you just from your native land and bring you welcome news. Your father is no more on earth. Your mother grieves, and none can comfort her. She wonders whether you are still alive or not. She longs to see you once again. And Yehoshua bowed his head in silent thought. And then he wrote. Of what he wrote, this is the song. My mother, noblest of womankind, a man just from my native land has brought me word. My mother, all is well for father, is well for you. His work in this earth realm is done, and it is nobly done. In all the walks of life, men cannot charge him with deceit, dishonesty, nor wrong intent. Here in this realm, he finished many heavy tasks and he has gone hence, prepared to solve the problem of the round of soul. Our Father Allah is with him there as he was with him here, and there his angels guards his footstep, lest he goes astray. Why should you weep? Tears cannot conquer grief. There is no power in grief to mend a broken heart. The plane of grief is idleness. The busy soul can never grieve. It has no time for grief. When grief comes trooping through the heart, just lose yourself and plunge deep into the ministry of love, and grief is not. Yours is a ministry of love, and all the world is calling out for love. Then let the past go with the past. Rise from cares of carnal things and give your life for those who live. And if you lose your life in serving life, you will be sure to find it in the morning sun, the evening dew, in songs of birds, in flowers, and in the stars of night. In just a little while, your problems of earth round will be solved. And when your sums are all worked out, it will be pleasure unallowed for you to enter wider fields of usefulness to solve the greater problem of the soul. Strive then to be content, and I will come to you someday and bring you richer gifts of gold or precious stones. I am sure that John will care for you, supply all your needs, and I am with you always. And by the hand of one, uh, a merchant going to Jerusalem, he sent this letter on its way. Signed, Yehoshua. Islam, Islam, Islam. I will now turn it back over to our National Assistant Grand Chief, Dr. Sadua Mitiel, Maheja Sepsuea, Islam.
Okay, let me see here. I was just trying to get this demonstration right. Is it there, Moors? Can you hear me?
Islam.
We can hear you.
Okay, I was trying to adjust this, see if I can adjust the mic, but nevertheless, all is well. We good. Trying to make sure this demonstration is working like it's supposed to be working. Goodness gracious. All right. Well, let us rise upon the seven and give all praises to the great God, Allah, Father God, Allah, and honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, El-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal. We give honors to our Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution, and bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything that our holy prophet brought to make us a nation. I want to welcome our Moorish kin to another E.A.R.S, or Egyptian Adeptus Research Sultanate. And today is going to be a grand drawing because we know that this is the day in which we will be actually dealing with our assignment. And we can't wait to hear what it is that our Moorish kin have to bring on the manifest. I do come forth with the confidence of knowing that this process that we have is making, it a little more less strenuous, and we can only become more perfected in this special degree of unfoldment. So at this particular time, what we want to do without further ado and delay, we're going to get right into it. We want to hear from our Moorish kin and see what it is that they have to bring on the manifest, in relation to dealing with their assignment. This is going to be a grand drawing. Remember, as we go into this special grand love thought in relation to dealing with these assignments, we just want to reiterate to the public, the purpose of E.A.R.S. When we say Egyptian Adeptus Research Sultanate, ultimately, this is all really dealing with not only our educational apparatus, where we are doing our own research as it relates to the scientific method when it comes to the Moors, but it also goes into one spiritual unfoldment, because in all actuality, we are studying the self. That's why we understand that, this is what really makes us swift angels. We here to raise the scimitar of consciousness in defense of the hearts and minds of our people. And so what do we mean when we say this? For those who are watching and are tuning in to us, well, we know that we can find the word ear, as it is within the essence of the heart of one, so to speak. The word ear is between the H and the T, right? And this is the nearest place that we can meet the great God. But if you drop the T, then it becomes here, right? And this is equivalent to the silent voice of the great God that speaks within, right? But then if we drop the H, it becomes simply ear. The Egyptian adept researcher. This is one that is able to hear that silent voice that speaks within as a result of studying self. This is more science. But what happens when you drop the E and the H? Then you have art, or arts, which is the living manifestation of the sacred science of the Moors, right? But what happens when you replace the H and you also replace the E, but you arrange the letters in such a way to where you find earth? Because you can do this with the same word that is known as heart, you can find earth there. In other words, this is equivalent to us, demonstrating our science and being adept at demonstrating that science on this earthbound plane of existence. So we are instructed to hear with our divine ears and master the sacred sciences and arts of the earth. You see? And man, we can be more beneficial to our people in teaching them how to get upside this body right here. And we call that crossing the borderland at will. So this is a grand drawing. In your temple of perfection, is the chamber of mastery where one becomes adept in relation to dealing with being in touch with the grand or the supreme grand ruler, so to speak, our holy prophet. So this is a powerful measure. Only he could guide us to this particular destination. Only he could guide us to this wisdom. So speaking of the wisdom, we're going to hear our prophet speak through our Moorish kin right now, because he was indeed a true Egyptian adept master. And it was he who has caused this grand work to come on the manifest to rebirth us as Egyptian adept scribes. So without further ado and delay, and want to say Islam to our family, avenge the ancestors and Sister Lisa Nicole Moria Bay as well. We're going to open up the floor, to hear from our family. So Islamism, and whoever it is and may that want to come forth from amongst the cherubim and demonstrate their drawing on the assignment, come on down. We say come on in, so to speak. Come on up. Islam.
Islam. Well, Dr. Dendra Nia Curtis Bay, I'm going to jump right on out there because I always like to try to go first. I'm still unfolding, and I'm so honored at my progress that I have made in learning how to use this computer. Use the program and the different programs that you have given us, Dr. Shahid, is very helpful, and I'm enjoying it. And but I'm still learning, and I like to jump out there first because a lot of times I go slower than the rest of them. So I like to get mine on out the way. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me see. Share screen. Let me see. Share screen. Okay, let's see. Share entire screen. Okay, share screen. Okay, family, let me put this up here first. Okay, family, can y'all see my screen?
Islamism.
Can y'all see that?
Oh yeah, we can see it.
Oh, good. Y'all talk to me because y'all making me nervous over here. Okay. Our assignment was to transliterating a few lines of your choice from chapter 1 in our Moorish Holy Quran system and methodology as I demonstrated during our last year section. Use the dictionaries attached herein, and the dictionaries that you had attached was the Bagger's Dictionary, and I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Slate, SLGHP, the PDF, and and then the second assignment was type a version of your transliteration in the Hieratic font that you downloaded into Word. And then the third one was submit your 7A sessions words Unicode, included using the system of searching the words in the dictionary of your choice. And going back to the first assignment, when you said you told us to go to chapter 1 and pick out a couple of lines, and you wanted us to use the tools that you sent, and the one that you sent was the Vegas Dictionary. And I used the Vegas Dictionary for all of my for my research on doing this assignment because I'm not too familiar with that other that's Slate, I think it's called. I'm not too familiar with how to use that one. I need some more practice on that. But the Vegas Dictionary, I'm familiar with that one, so that's what I did. And you say pick out some sentences from our Holy Quran, and these are the sentences that this is the sentence that I picked out from our Holy Quran chapter 1. It says, "The thoughts of Allah cannot be circumscribed." And what I did was, and I remember in our last session, Dr. Shahi, you were saying that a lot of times our ancestors didn't use "the," and so I didn't try to look up the word "the," but I looked up thoughts, and I didn't try to look up the "of," and I went to look up Allah, but I couldn't find Allah in the Vegas Dictionary. So I looked up God, and I also looked up the cannot, and it only had 2 hits, and then the B. I didn't look at, and I looked up circumscribe. Well, circumscribe wasn't in the Vegas Dictionary either. But what I did is I looked up the definition for circumscribe, and it meant restricted. And so those are the words that I'm going to be working with this morning. And so as you can see here, family, it said the thoughts, meaning more than one. And as you can see, it was a noun, and it is the IMYW and then the HT. And I remember in the last class, Dr. Shahi said that when you see, I'm thinking I'm saying it right, when you see the W, that means plural. and we are talking about the thoughts. We're not talking about just one thought. We're talking about thoughts. And I know we just supposed to use that one sentence, but I wanted y'all to see. I'm going with this one, but I wanted you to see where the other sentences that really stood out to me, and I had to make a call and choose which one that I wanted to use. So I'm going to use the IMYW, then the HT, and I'm thinking that H is the I think that's the sound, if I'm not mistaken. And Dr. Shahi, you can help me with that. If I'm not saying that one right, but these was the other words family that I was torn between. As you can see, the H with the dot under there, that's HATYW. There again, it means hearts, and then thoughts. I was looking for the word thoughts, and it's a plural noun. And over here you see the pictorial here, and I was looking at it to try to see, interpret the pictorials, but I didn't come up with anything as of yet. I'm still working on that. And then this one down here, it's HATY. There again, there's my word thoughts. I wanted to find the word thoughts where it was just by itself, didn't have no other words with it, because my sentence, I'm talking about the thoughts of the great God Allah, the thoughts of Allah. I'm talking about more than one. I'm talking about his thoughts. And so this is what to make a decision to choose between. And so, but like I say, I went with the first one, but these are some of the words that I had. I just had to make a judgment call and say, well, I'm going to go with the first one, the IMYW, then the HT. All right. And then I had to put 1 minute family. I had to put that on another, the Allah and the subscribe. I had to put that on another page. Okay. Can y'all see that, family? I'm hoping you still can see that. And here you see Allah. I chose this word here, the IMN, and then the NTRW, and I thought that NTRW meant Netaru, and it means the most hidden of gods. And I remember in our teachings how I learned about Allah is the hidden one inside. And I think this little picture here depicts that also. And like I say, but Allah was not found in the Bagger's dictionary, so that's why I went with God. And you see, they got it plural, but I'm just talking about Allah. And then this one I chose as my this is a second word. I say I had to choose it there again between the two. And I thought this one was good, and it mean Angeti. I think I'm pronouncing it right, and it means God of Bucyrus, and it's a noun. And that was one of the kings during the time during the Egyptian time. I looked that name up, and then when it says the thoughts of Allah cannot be circumcised, I only got two. I mean circumscribed. I only got two things for cannot in the Vegas dictionary, and this is what it gave me. It gave me these pictorials here, and then the HM. And family, I hope you can see that. I did my best to make it as big, but if I made it any bigger, then the pictorials were gonna go off the page. And and I think it was because of the font that when I was copying and pasting, so that's why this one is kind of small, but I'm believing y'all can see that. And it means stars that cannot rest, and also it means that cannot be weary. Keep it in mind, I'm talking about the thoughts of Allah cannot be circumscribed. And then I went down to my word circumscribed. There again, I could not find that in the Vegas dictionary, so I looked up circumscribed, and it means restricted. So I went with the word restricted, and then when I typed that in the Vegas dictionary, restricted come up. It had a couple of hits for that, but I chose this one here, this word here. As you can see the pictorial, you see the man with the face or the eye. I thought about, there's still being Allah, and then it means WR, then the HNRT, and it means great one of the restricted area. And when it talks about restricted area, it made me think about, because I'm talking about the thoughts of Allah cannot be circumscribed. So you cannot restrict the great God Allah. You can't just put him in an area. And then this one, the next one down here, family, I use this one, HNRT. There again, I'm going with number one, but I just wanted to let y'all see. I had a hard time trying to decide which one that I really wanted to use. So, but I wanted to show y'all this is what I had to choose from, and I just made up my mind and just used the WRHNRT, great one of the restricted area. But I really liked it, this one too, and it's the HNRT, and it means prison, fortress, council chamber, barrier, and then there again my word restricted area, which meaning there again, when you talking about the great God Allah, and when you even talking about us as being gods, you can't imprison a God. You can't imprison the thoughts of the great God Allah. You can't put boundaries. It's a barrier. You can't put a barrier around the thoughts of the great God Allah, a fortress, and all of that. You cannot do that. You can do none of that to us as being gods, and you cannot do that, especially to the thoughts of the great God Allah. All right, and my next sentence that I used, family, was, bear with me. Okay. My next sentence I used was, let me go here. My next sentence I picked out from chapter 1 was, the child is as perfect as the mother is. That's the sentence I picked out. And there again, I didn't look up the and is, as, and is. I didn't look those up. I looked up the main words, which was child, and I picked out the word for child. As you can see here in the little pictorial, you can see the child sitting there, and then you see the man with his hands up. But that child I was looking for the word by itself, child. And when you are doing your research, family, looking for these words, it'll pick up wherever child is. And some of them had children of that nature, but I wasn't looking for children. I was looking for child. And it says the child is as perfect as the mother is. And so when I thought about the child, it's the HRD, and it means child. It means become a child. And I thought about it. I'm talking about in chapter 1. It's talking about the child is as perfect as the mother is. And I thought about how we as women, when we carry that child, and that made me want to show y'all this word here, which IWR, which means conceive a child, become pregnant. And that's also a verb. And then I also wanted to just find the word child by itself with nothing else with it. And that was the NWN, and it's a noun, and it's child. And then we can see here the little child sitting right there in the pictorial they had. And the next word I picked was perfect. I'll stop right there. And perfect, and then that's my first choice is NFR, perfect, and it's an adjective meaning describing something. And then, but I had to choose between this one because I liked this too. Excuse me, the TM, and it means to be complete, be whole, and to be perfect. There's my word again. The perfect. The child is as perfect as the mother is. And you can see down here for mother, I looked up mother. You can see the little woman in the pictorial sitting there. I thought about that as being the, I think the door or the mouth. But anyway, I'm still working on giving my interpretation of these pictorials. But for mother here, it's the MST, and it's by itself. It's a single word, and that's a noun. And these down here, they was nouns, but I noticed that it was the NWT for the mother, and then for this one down here, it was the MWT. Then it had the dot in the F, and it says his mother. And I'm thinking that dot in the F, if I remember correctly, it's distinguishing, like if it's a her mother or his mother, it's giving that distinction. I hope I'm remembering that right. And if I'm not, I'm open for correction and instructions from my peers. Islam. And those are the two sentences that I picked out. And then the second part of it, it says type a version of your transliteration in the Hieratic font that you downloaded into Words. So let me go there. And I hope I did this right. But like I say, I'm always open because I'm learning, family, and I'm having fun. And sometimes I might not understand exactly what I'm supposed to do, but I give it my best, and that's what we're here for, to learn, and that's why we're here. I feel like I'm in school, so Islam, and then these I typed it out like this. The child is as perfect as the mother is, and this is how it looked up here. And I really like this. I really like this working with this because I can see all my alphabets. Like that is THE, the child CH. That's an I. Y'all remember that alphabet? That's an I. Now they didn't have an alphabet for the L. We know the L is. I think it's interchangeable with something another letter too. But this is the R, and then is the I, F, and as y'all remember the A. That A really don't change. I mean, I can recognize that A anywhere. That's the A, S. That's as, and then perfect. That's PERFECT, and then that AS again. So I just really enjoyed this one, and so this is, to me, this is the way I did it. The child is as perfect as the mother is. This is the Hieratic when you type it out. And there again, like I say, they didn't have anything for O. That's why you see it like that. But we know that the O is interchangeable. And then on down here, family, it says the thoughts of Allah / can God because I had to look up God instead of Allah, cannot be circumscribed / restricted. And this is it here. And this is it here the Hieratic down here. And then what I did too was I took the IWR, the NFR, I took the and the MST, which means child, perfect, and mother. And this is what, if you was to write it out, family, if you was to write it out in the Hieratic, I don't think he didn't ask us to do this, but this is what it would look like if you was to write it out in the Hieratic. So Islam, gratitude, that's what I have, our family, and I'm open, Dr. Shaheed, for instructions, corrections, and everything else. Islam, gratitude. I'm done. Gratitude, y'all, for helping, bearing with me. Peace and love. And I'm gonna stop sharing my screen if that's okay.
Islam.
Islam.
And gratitude, Islamism. Well, all is well, sister. Grand job, on the work you did. The transliteration, you actually had there, but when you wrote it out in the sentences, that was basically your translation. So your transliteration is where you go into what I actually did while you was doing your measure. I actually was transliterating what you demonstrated while you was doing it, which you did it already, but you just didn't put it in those particular words.
Okay.
And so the transliteration, instead of the translation, because the translation is what you have in English. Transliteration is actually putting all the words that you have in the hieratic in the order. What you had them there, like I said, you just didn't structure them that way. So,
okay.
We give you honors, and you did a great job too, by the way. That was very comprehensive for the people that's watching. And I have here for the first drawing, the thoughts of Allah, cannot be circumscribed.
Okay.
And it's really a choice. You hear me say Ya Allah, oh Allah, and I'm actually reflecting upon the word Allah as it has to do with second Allah, if you're dealing with it comedically. But also, yes, you can use the word netter.
Right.
I even netter Allah, but in this special case, what I did in the transliteration of what you put here, because it actually said netteru, I place imuhet, I'm in netteru, kim werdu were connect.
Okay.
That's how you would say that. If you were dealing with it. So the transliteration is what I just said.
Okay.
Again, that's imuhet, and I seen heti.
Okay.
They added that Y at the end, but it's still the same thing, and you chose properly when you took the choice of choosing what you brought forth. So it's imuhet, eminetteru, kim werdu were connect. And that is the thoughts of Allah cannot be circumscribed. The word Allah is being substituted with netteru or netter, you see. Which again, if we wanted to, we could say, like I said, we could say aha if we wanted to, but it's still comprehensive the way that you brought it forth, and that's the way to go. Again, so now we know how to say this. So we got to memorize these phrases as well, because this is what's going to give us the ability to be able to talk. But also, I can see how by you just writing out the script too, like I said before, the more hands-on we are, the easier it is for us to retain those alphabets. And yes, some alphabets based on the fact that I had an English template, and I was trying to do it through the Arabic, which would have been perfect, but they wouldn't let me do the Arabic template, so I went with the English. And when you see things like the letter O and it bring those measures up, you can always substitute them with, either vowel that you choose to substitute them with that's already a part of the alphabet, and we'll understand exactly what it is when we transliterate it. You
Oh.
see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
You know, so if it's O and you put a U there,
Right.
you know, because that would be the most likely thing to replace it with. You know, we will get it. So you can do that. And the letter L, you know, and R is interchangeable.
Right.
So, you know, if you just put the letter R there, we'll
Okay.
get the drawing of where you're coming from.
Oh, okay.
And we're doing that to try to stay in line with what was already there. But this is new hieratic, a reintroduction, so to speak. And this is based upon where we coming from right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the ancients demonstrated when they begin to come forth with a language.
Right.
That's another thing. Our people have to stop being timid in creating their own.
Right.
You know, when it comes to what's going on, we see what the ancients did, and they did this often in the past. When they came forth with a language, and then ones went off into another area, broke off to do what it was they did in building another civilization, then they came up with their own alphabet that was based off of what was already there.
Right.
So this is definitely educational for our family to get them back into that mindset. Now, you had a couple of different definitions that you put up there, and you could have went either way with it, dealing with the child as perfect as his mother.
Right.
You know, and that was Kurt Ewer. I think the other word you had was Manu.
Uh-huh.
You know, Kurt Ewer, Manu Nefertim.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kurt Ewer, Manu Nefertim, and we could say Mut.
Mm-hmm.
See? And we could have said Matuf, which you had there.
Right.
You know, Maset, we could have put there. Amset is what it actually would be. Amset.
Okay.
You see, so this is also, if you see the word Muta, Amset and Mutu, this word carried over, believe it or not, even into the Arabic language. But they referred to it as Umut, Umut, Umat.
Okay.
You know, this is why, for example, they talk about Mecca as the mother of the city.
Mm-hmm.
See, is used even when it comes to the mother of the book, al-Kitab, the mother of the books. So I like this demonstration right here. It also made me see, just dealing with the set drawing with the MST, it made me think about, you know, how we talk about the lawfully charter organization, where one was supposed to learn the lesson and then come out of it unfold into government. And I thought about, you know, the sacred groves, you know, that was brought forth by our prophet, you know, and looking at the mother, you know, and giving birth, you know, to who we are as a people. I seen that as well. You know, my mind just went all into that area, but you did a great job. So, you know, it's really going back and putting it together in the transliteration by the words.
Okay.
You know, dealing with the hieratic. And you didn't necessarily have to put your pictorial there. Nothing wrong with doing it.
Okay.
You know, you could have just put hieratic on the side of it. You
oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
That's what we're doing too. We're trying to get outside of, nothing wrong with putting them there to markers, but we want to get used to looking at the actual hieratic letters.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's nothing wrong with being able to use them to vet and make sure you choosing the right word when you're looking at your definition.
Okay.
You see, and once we continue to do these things right here, I know you can see that it's endless possibilities now. And another thing you did that was powerful too, you did exactly how it was supposed to be done. When you went and you seen that the word circumscribe wasn't there, and obviously the word Allah ain't gonna be found in the Egyptian language in that direct way. We know the words that make up the word Allah.
Right.
You know, once we, you know, because we done demonstrated that before. But how you went to your thesauruses,
right?
You know, and then you found the other words that actually applied to that word circumscribe.
That's right.
Then you took it, you did. That's how we supposed to do it.
Okay.
You know, if you can't see it there directly in the dictionary, then you go to your thesauruses and look at all of the other possibilities, and then you can make your choice from the one that's there. But you did a great job by choosing the word you chose, because we know that made me think about the fact that you can't enslave a God.
Right.
So
That's
that the law you was talking about, you know, there are no restrictions upon him, neither can you put restrictions upon him. And us being one with him, we can't be restricted either.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So, you know, you can't enslave a God. That's what kept ringing in my head as you were speaking on that. Mm-hmm. But you did a grand draw and bringing forth your job, your assignment, so to speak. And again, you just got to go back and you know, put this thing in memory. Like I already got the other memory we did. You know, the Septepi Wa Amhu. You know, the creation and fall of man. So I'm building as we go along, and every time we come through here now, I'm gonna be taking these things in.
Okay.
You see? and hopefully our Moorish kin doing the same thing. So again, your first state was imuhet imneteru kimwardu were connect.
Right.
You know, if you want to put some oomph in it and deal with the actual, because I'm just speaking it out. You want to get into the sounds, you know, it will be imuhet imneteru kimwardu connect.
Right.
You see?
Okay.
You know, if we were putting a vibration to it, imuhet aminneteru kimwardu were connect. You know, just that's just a draw. And then the other one again was her earwear Menu Nefertim Mut. Her inwear Munefretim Mut.
Yeah.
You know, like I say, set Mutuf, or we could say Kurt Ilwear Manu Nefertim Mutuf.
Okay.
You know, yeah, whichever one that flowed better with you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because this is your choice on what you choose to bring forth. You know, it's just like dealing with a thesaurus. You choose all the words out of it. And that's how you can look at it when you have these different words that like the set or the mut in the matuf.
Oh, okay.
Matuf. You know, you can choose which one you use, which one best fitted, just like you did with the circumscribed degree. So yeah, this is a powerful drawing, you know, and most definitely that's a grand demonstration there, sister. Islamism, you did a good job, and we know why you a scribe.
Is love. Gratitude, family. You know, I be nervous and I'm still learning. I give honors to my student minister, Dr. Fetcher Curtis Bay, my son. He's really working diligent with me, family, to help me present this stuff. And I'm just proud of my little self. And y'all keep me lifted up, and I'm getting better and better and better every day with this. And gratitude for y'all's patience. Islam, family.
Gratitude.
Over with.
That's right. And you also do the second part that we do off the line? Now we just sending them in. You know, we can just send them in. We don't even have to go over them after the class. We just send the words to us, and we can add them to our dictionary. Like I say, we almost pretty much on a wrap with the A, and we'll be going into the B. Right. I'm putting everything together. I just want to get y'all definitions as well.
Okay, yeah,
so and make sure we include all that.
Islam, and I'll be sending those over. The ones that I have, I'll be sending those over. I'm gonna try to get those over to you this week.
And you know, once we be doing these measures as well with the A section, just like every other section of the alphabet that we'll come up with. You know, we can always be adding words, you know, because, you know, you can always revise, so to speak. But just with what we start with, it'll be sufficient enough that we can continue to construct sentences and so forth and so on. Because we got to do the same thing in relation to building up, again, our Marabic drawing. This is just the hieratic here, but, you know, going into our Marabic as well. Too. So this, what we're doing now is exercising our knowledge, wisdom, and understanding and strengthening us in the hieratic to where we're going to be able to just look at certain papyri and, you know, we can point things out by the exercise of what we're demonstrating right now.
Islam. Gratitude.
Islamism without the schism. We got the pen in our hand now. They're going to learn today. Islam, Sister Curtis Bay. All right. Islam. Man, that was a powerful demonstration, boys. I know y'all fired up now, scribes. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get out the way, and I'm gonna let my Moorish kin come forth and exercise they fire.
Islam.
Show them why we Moorish American Muslims and what it means to resurrect the teaching of your ancestors. Go ahead, brother.
Islam, praise and honor is already given. I'm gonna share this screen. And 1 second. Present. There it goes. Share screen. Okay. Is it sure?
There you go.
All righty. And I'm gonna hit this tab right here. And the this was the assignment. As the guy that said before me, transliteration, a few lines of your choice from chapter 1 in A More Holy Quran, the system of mythology, as I demonstrated during the last E.A.R.S section, the dictionary. Go over the A's, and it says to transliterate in the Hieratic font that you downloaded on your Word. So I did. I'm not sure. You might have did this before, but I don't know why I recalled. But might have did this. But this is what I translated. The time never was when man was not. If life of man at any time began, a time would come when it would end. And I kind of had trouble with this one because it's, time, it has so many different variations and definitions for what time and the expression of how they're going to say time never was. And at one point it says appointed time, and then you see right underneath this on this one right here, it says I did a hawa, and this says space, time, period, lifetime. But this was also said appointed time, so that's why I said time, appointed time, and such never was. And this shows the markers, the what are them called? The Unicodes. The Unicodes that I go through to decipher that. And the word was tepiaya, tepe ayat. For that one. And then when I looked up never, it just goes in pot 2 said, and this is, I always put this here just to make sure that they're the marker, but I forget the sound shifting that it comes with. I think that's the DJ sound. If I'm correct, could you correct me if I'm wrong on this one?
Okay, Islam. Did you see a line under it?
Yeah, that's why I always put the marker
so
with the
that's
line.
sedge.
Sedge. Okay, yeah.
Yes, sir. So
Okay.
that's in patu sedge. In patu sedge. So that's tip ayat in patu sedge.
Tip ayat in patu sedge. Okay. And mefe, would that be mefe, or because we're using the E as a general vowel in it? Mefe.
That could actually be meth, or it can also be muf. I mean, whichever one you would choose out of it. But yeah, E is what we normally put there. So you can go with meth.
Meth. Okay.
Even amuf.
Amuf. Okay. And then the transliteration for the word which says never heard of it. And it gets a little gray when we get further down in this, because I think I might have been overthinking on some of this right here. And it says when was the it says Hieratic, which was what was prior, the past former state. So time never was. And tipi ayat puatu sej move. Here. or hat ne jud since when, and that's the definition of the NDR. And man, I said the flesh of man, but I think I did this part wrong, because when it says time never was when man was not, and it was prescribing to the actual flesh of man, but yet it was more so speaking to the essence of that time that it was talking about with spirit, man. And this is the part where I was having a hard time when I translate it, because you're gonna see down further as we go. And then we have the end right here that says not, that's D35, and if I have E.A.R.S and Ankh life, we know that that's always is in the Ankh. We have that.
You could have, pardon self, you could have also said remet.
For Ankh, for the life?
No, for
or
man.
Yeah, remet. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Remet. Let me put that up there. Let me put that up here too. And we have
pardon self, not to cut into your wisdom, grand man.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they have put words in there like the if and all those types of things, we know that a lot of that stuff originated recently. That's English way of saying the and the and this, just like in Arabic, you don't really find them types of words. They insert those types of words from modern Arabic, so to speak, because they have them in there. You see what I'm saying? So they assert modern Arabic into a religious text, and they can cross over those words with the and the the. But the people back during that time didn't use, the way we speak. So it's all right if you just chose the main words too. But it's good that you went in there and seen the words that they came forth with in the dictionary for those words. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
but in most cases, when you deal with a transliteration, if you're dealing with Arabic or Hebrew, it's going to almost be like time, man, you know what I mean? And it's going to flow like that. And then a lot of time people end up just tying it in with those words, the, if, based on the context of how they see the sentence flowing. Islam. Go ahead, brother. You all right?
Islam.
And I see you have Remet up there too, right?
Yeah,
there.
I put that in.
Ifu. A lot of time that I is really synonymous with the A as well. Yifu. Okay. You just have to go up and see the difference in it in whatever dictionary you're dealing with. Go ahead, brother. You got it.
Islam. Gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have and really, say I was listening to, especially when you was talking about the context, you really don't have to put the if or those in there because of the context, how it expresses in it, the definition that it expresses in it. I just did it because it was, I thought that my conditioning made it flow better in my head, but really it's not, it wasn't even needed knowing what you're saying when I'm taking into consideration what you're saying.
Well, yeah, you can pardon self again, you can write it out, like in the English translation, that's okay. But as far as when you get into the transliteration, it really ain't, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's normally how it goes. Go ahead, brother.
Islam. And so in this essence, I use man as ka, because I think this part was more pertaining to the spirit. So it goes, time never was when man was not. If life of man, the ka, which was the soul, spirit, and the essence, at any time began, as we see, at any time began, which is Neb Sayah and Awet, a time would come when it would end. And that's pretty much my demonstration on this part. And I was going to get into this, the thoughts of Allah, but I see Goddess got into it. She did that part. And this is my transliteration for for those first two sentences. The where is it at? Here is the Imre and Komet translation. Like when you said when you did the demonstration, I think it was a few weeks back when you did it back, you put it in right to left. And that's where I got stumped at, because trying to restructure the sentence got me, my brain was, it just short circuited in the sense. Trying to put that in the expression. But here's the sentence when it's drawn out right here. Tipe aya in poite sejet mouf hier hat in dejer iwef auf awef in ank nu kaar neb saya at kir knir ayahana set sar. So that's time never was when man was not a life man. Any time began, the time will come when it will end. Islam. Peace and love.
Islam, gratitude, yes, sir, most definitely. And in them areas where you seen the letter not plugging in, you can always do the substitute letter, you know, and the shifting too. But you did a good job overall, grand man, you know. And again, you know, these are measures we want to get out here. And so you can actually too, when you begin to do these things, you can actually do your writing where you write things out. Because sometimes, like I say, you can go back and vet it by using other dictionaries, following the Unicode. And you can see where it actually, some dictionaries sound it out, you know, whereas some just put it up there as the actual skeleton, so to speak. When I say skeleton, I'm talking about the words existing without the vowels, so to speak. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a powerful drawing, grand man. And yeah, that's a grand one. You know, we love the fact that you picked up and you sounded out. We can only get better. And the more we work with these demonstrations hands-on, it's going to increase our knowledge in these special words so that when we go into these things, we'll be able to recognize. I also like the fact that you placed the hieratic there. You know, you didn't put anything pictorial in the manifest, you know, because that's what we're going for. That's the look we're going for, you know, so that our people can really return to understanding what the hieratic looked like. But you did a grand job, scribe. Nevertheless, I'm pretty sure our people got something out of that. Islam. All right. What about our other Moorish king? Goodness
Islam.
All right, Grand National Secretary of the State. Islam.
Islam. Praise Allah. Gratitude. First of all, I want to rise, giving all praises to our Father God Allah, giving honor to our Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, the last prophet in these days and times, giving honor to our E.A.R.S class, to Consul General of Iowa, Dr. Bati Bey, for opening our meeting according to law, also to our National Grand Secretary, South Carolina, Dr. Dendra Nia Kurta Bey, for reading our subject chapter for the week, giving honor to Act 1, and giving honor to our family online and to our host instructor, our National Assistant Grand Sheik of Moorish America, Dr. Shedu Amenti El Mohedjed Shepsuel. It's been a grand class, and gratitude to my Moorish kin for bringing forth their special measures. Beautiful. I am getting ready to share my screen. Can you see my screen, Moorish kin?
Islam.
Islam. Hold up
Gratitude.
1 second, too, while you're sharing, Grand Secretary of the State. We
Yes,
got
sir.
our brother out here. He, Muhammad Ismail, he said he don't know what he's supposed to get from this. And I just want to address our brother briefly.
Yes, sir.
What you supposed to get from this, grand man, you're new to this particular drawing here. So this is the class in our Egyptian Adeptus Research Sultanate, where we are actually teaching our people the Hieratic language, and we are basically showing them the true language that all the Egyptian papyri really come from. We got a lot of papyri, and so we have went from Arabic into what we call the Hikapta, Coptic, and we went from that up into what we call also Demotic. Then we went into the Hieratic, and we went into the pictorial expressions, because we're giving our people a proper understanding of the Egyptian language. But what we are doing here, in order for one to get a draw, and this is the assignment that our family is bringing back to us, that was given to them from our last session, in order to bring forth words of their choice from our Circle 7 Quran in the Hieratic language, so that we can actually utilize these things and speak, these measures, the ayats, so to speak, in the Hieratic. So that's what one is supposed to get from this family. Being able to recognize your Moorish Holy Quran in the Egyptian language, the Hieratic, Islam. Okay, go ahead, Grand National Secretary of the State.
Gratitude. Our assignment, just basically going over 1 and 2, transliterating a few lines of your choice from chapter 1 in our Moorish Holy Quran, the system and methodology as I demonstrated during our last E.A.R.S session. Use the dictionaries attached herein. And number 2, type a version of your transliteration in the hieratic font that you downloaded into Word. So I did 2 sentences coming from chapter 1. First one, a multitude of lessons man must learn upon this plane of soul. And here he tarries many ages until his lessons are all learned. And I did hear my instructor, and it made it easier too, leaving out the little words. So I started with multitude, which is asa, lessons. Well, the actual sentence is multitude, lessons, man, learn, plain, soul, tarries, ages, lessons learned. So that's asa, sabate, remit, ra, dadawut, ka, ab, wa, sabate, and ra. The next, and these are the coming from the Vargas dictionary for multitude, lesson, which you see the sabate here. Multitude is the ASA, remit, man or mankind, Egyptians and people. And these are the Unicodes following it. And ra, to know, be aware of, and it also had to learn or diagnose. Also Vargas, because this was a lengthy sentence, plain, dadawut, soul, ka, tarry or stray, ab, for a long time, wa, and that was the first sentence. Then the second sentence coming from chapter 1 in our Moorish Holy Quran, but man will regain his lost estate, his heritage, but he must do it in a conflict that cannot be told in words. So I broke it down to man, regain, lost estate, heritage, man or he/man, do, conflict, not told, words. Remit, sadi, het, det, awa, remit, tepi, ear, pedet, in, meter, medu. And again, I use the Vargas dictionary as well, which made it a lot easier. Gratitude, remit for man or men or mankind, Egyptians or people, to recover or to secure, sadi, het to retire, to get lost, go astray, to come and go. Estate was the debt, and the heritage, inheritance, inheritor, heir, iwa. Also, in this second sentence, tepi, the way of doing something. I chose the do from there, or the method, cipher, key, or example. Repeat a conflict. N, not or no. The meter, to attest, to inform, or to tell. And words, Medu. And as far as putting the sentence into the Medu, Ray, and Kemet, this is multitude, lessons, man, learn, plain, soul, tarries, ages, lessons learned. And the second sentence dealing with man, regain lost estate, heritage, man, do, conflict, not told in words. And this is the Medu, Ray, and Kemet for Remit, Sadi, Het, Dut, Iwa, Remit, Tepi, Pedet, in Medu, and Medu. Islam? I'm gonna stop sharing.
Okay, Islamism with gratitude. See, man, y'all, these scribes up in here, family, listen to that. And now, those who are not even a part of this, who may have some idea of some of these measures, just by them looking at your transliteration, Grand National Secretary of the State, they can automatically see, if they know what the word sabate mean, then they know that this has to do with instruction or some type of teaching, right? And then they see remet there, they know, okay, well, this is dealing with man, you know, the daduit. When you get into the aspect of dealing with the concept of even understanding the plane, okay, this is the plane sphere known as the duat, you know, where everything is there. And then you got the car and the soul, and you know what I mean? This is a powerful demonstration here. So, you know, the asa sabat remet rehedodoat kaabwa, you know, is the way you state the first, and then the second one dealing with the other expression, you know, remet sedi heket dot iwa remet tepi arpat in metu neta mitcher Medu, pardon self. And we can see right there as well, sis, if we go into some of these words, they already jump out at us based upon what we have demonstrated thus far. And so if we just take these particular statements, and we can go back to the video once it's done, those who are watching, and you can actually learn how to say these things. But these scribes, family, are most definitely certified to do this. This has never been done in the history of our people. So we want to give honor to these hardworking scribes, you know, who have come through everything that's necessary to be known in order to be able to demonstrate this. And y'all make it look so easy, family. This is one of the most harmonious E.A.R.S classes we had, and they're gonna only get greater, because the more we work with these demonstrations, you know, the way more one is going to be able to freestyle, you know, when it comes to dealing with this special language. So this is building us up, you know, so to speak, like a mental lexicon, you know, of dealing with relation to dealing with the hieratic or the Medu, Ray, and Kemet, which is properly termed the Egyptian language. You know, so man, this is powerful. Islamism, Grand Drawing, Grand National Secretary of the State. Ooh-wee. Oh man. Well, that put our brother Marvin Edwards Bay on the hot seat.
Islam, yes, indeed.
Islam, yeah, man. How you be, scribe?
Yes, sir. Yeah, this is Dr. Marvin Edwards Bay out of the Texas Consulate, rising, giving all praises to the great God of Allah, giving the highest honor to his prophet, our prophet, Prophet Noble Ali, El-Haj Sharif Abdul Ali. Give high honor to our theocratic government, our Moorish American government. Give high honor to our Act 1. Give high honor to all of our officials. I give high honor to this class, our E.A.R.S class, our Egyptian adept Research Sultanate class. As well as I give honor to you, God man, for hosting and instructing our E.A.R.S class. As well as I give honor to all those that aided in bringing forth our class this morning. Give honor to everything that is Moorish, our flag, our seal, our emblem, our divine constitution, our holy Quran, our book of Ali, our 101, 102s, our exhuming of a nation, all of our divine revelations, I give honor. Give honor to the forerunner, Dr. Marcus Mose Garvey L., as well as I give honor to our ancestors, whose shoulders we stand upon. We are the return of the ancient ones. And I give honor to all those that give their message before me. Man, the morals is really on top of things this morning. And I'll, bring a little something to the floor, and I'll begin to share my screen. And hopefully I can find out where my stuff is. Okay, I think, is this part of it? Oh, hold on, let me see. Oh, okay, there it is. Okay, my coming from okay, this is the assignment. Transliterating a few lines of your choice from chapter 1 in our Moorish Holy Quran, the system and methodology as I demonstrated during our last E.A.R.S session. Use the dictionaries attached herein. Type of version, new transliteration in the hieratic font that you downloaded in 2 words. And of course, we got the other words that we're going to go with. Okay, so my choice from the creation and fall of man is, so spirit man as seed of Allah held deep within himself. And for that, I came up with
Okay, are you sharing your screen, Brother Marvin Evans Bay?
yes, sir. You can't see it?
No, I don't see it here to pull it up in the queue, my brother. You got to share it so I can pull it up in the queue.
Okay, let me.
You probably got it up there in the thing, but it ain't in the queue yet.
Okay. Okay, let me. Got that. Okay, share.
All right, there we go.
Okay, you see it now? Okay.
Yeah, let me add it to the screen. There we go.
Okay. And let me go back over here. Okay, that's where I was at. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, we see it.
Oh, okay.
I
All
see
right,
you using E.A.R.S font instead of the hieratic though.
yeah, like I think when my computer updated, hold on, let me see something. Okay, now I use like right there, right?
Okay, so you use them together.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I said, well, my computer kind of like when it updated, I had to go and try to look for those fonts again, but I thought I got it. Okay, so spirit man as seed of Allah held deep within himself, and so that's one of the sentences that I use, and I started out with the ox, which is hidden. Well, X is the spirit state. And so I use the spirit state as spirit man, my interpretation of that. And that's the X.
Pardon self, God, man.
Yes, sir.
Instead of X, it's actually Ak.
Ak, okay.
Yes, sir. Remember that particular X is sounded out at the end as Ak.
Okay, gratitude. Ak.
Yes, sir. Islam. Yes, sir. Pardon self.
No, appreciate that. I stand correct. And so, okay, Ak, the spirit state, has brought forth in one of those dictionaries, and me kind of put it together, and it's more or less with a limited time frame, and as a seed, and I saw the seed as being, when the seed is planted in the soil of soul, it is hidden. So I brought forth hidden, which would be imminent. Okay. And so for Allah, I use we're, which is great one, a magnet. And if you go through these in the Unicode, it would say bear witness to that. I can do that still. And which is the great one. Okay, held within himself. And I saw that as, as I kind of broke it down to preserve, you know what I mean? And I broke that down into, like, say, one phrase, to preserve. And that was represented by SAW, you know what I mean? SAW, which is to preserve. And so that's how I broke that down. And like you said, I put it in the other language that I was supposed to put it in the Hieratic, but I didn't. Okay, now this way I brought the Hieratic in on this particular phrase here. The attributes of every part of Allah. And how I went with that was Iri and Apu, and that's like one ADEPT, which is I'm bringing that down to represent attributes, like an ADEPT, is an attribute of the great God. And also this sepsis, representing nobles. That I kind of took different phrases to break the attributes into, so sepsis also is precious, which is another phrase of attributes. And Atum, this is going to translate to an expression of Allah, so that's how I brought that in. And also I used Shemsu Hayat, is the elder, which is of the portal, and that's how I say broke down a part of Allah. This is how we reach Allah, through the portal, which is within. Okay, like I said, I didn't get to do very much, but it's saying this here. Oh no, this is from another demonstration. So yeah, I didn't have an opportunity to go into it in depth, but kind of figure out what I did here. Let's see. Okay, well, I think this is some of my words, which I didn't bring for later. But that's pretty much what I came up with. That's another demonstration. So yeah, this is all I could bring on the manifest at this particular time. And so I got to go, back and continue to research. So that's what I have, bro. God, man. And gratitude for allowing me to share that amount. Islam.
Okay, Islamism, all is well, all is well. You brought forth a measure. Now there were two words that you could actually use to deal with the word seed as well as attributes, that you could actually add in between those particular measures of what you brought forth. And I share the screen real quick and show you. Because remember, a lot of time when you Google certain things, they may not be in one particular dictionary. You can look in the UDs, or you can just go to a thesaurus and find the word that is most equivalent, and then go back to your Egyptian dictionary, plug that in, and all is well. So what I'm gonna do is go here. The word here is actually air, which is divine seed. They even use the term sperm, but we know when you're talking about divine, you're going beyond the manifest. But so this could actually be two definitions. If they would have put a comma there, you can just look at it as it is stated and still get the same drawing. We're talking about a seed that bring forth life. So this is the divine seed. You see? Air. Okay. So here is the other definition. And the hep can actually be used for combined attributes. You see? So that's big. Other than that, you still gave grand drawings in the way that you demonstrated it. I just wanted to add that on to the particular measure just for, improvement along the way. But more overall, man, all of our Moorish kin, all of these scribes on the panel did exactly what they would adept or more proficient in demonstrating this special drawing as we continue to move on. We can only get better. We can only get better. And getting better, we get greater, so to speak. So it's a grand drawing, and I see our Moorish kin going a long way. I see us coming together, dealing with a transliteration and a comprehensive version of our Moorish Holy Quran in Hieratic and in Moabic, once we going into that, because a lot of the words that we use and draw from the Hieratic, as well as, other different drawings, because our particular language is basically universal, the way that it would be brought forth, and it would consist of not only words from what they call Arabic, Hebrew, Kemetic, they're going to come from all over the place. That way, when we use that language, it will be universal across the board, so to speak. So those are some of the things we're working on when we begin to come forth with that. We just want to get our family on the manifest in becoming more familiar with the Hieratic, what we call the Medu Ray and Kemet. We had one brother called it the Rodney Kemet, but it's the actually Medu Ray in Kemet, and this has been translated as Hieratic, in the so-called Greek, which we know as Hekapta. Coptis is really referred to as well as Hieraticos. They use that terminology. But nevertheless, man, these scribes, you did grand today. So at this time, what I want to do, I want to hear from the scribes, and see what it is that our family have to bring forth as a result of this grand success in this first session, because we got some more to follow up with this, to where we gonna only get greater. So I want to call forth Act 1 first, and see what we have here. Islamism. All right. Is our chairman on location, Grand Secretary of the State?
He's not available right now more.
Okay, Islam. Well, we know he on a mission, uplifting the nation. Praise be to Allah.
Praise Allah.
All right. Well, since you on the manifest,
Oh,
uh-oh,
all is well.
gratitude, goddess and queen.
Well, first of all, having already risen, giving praise and honor where due, I just feel so good. I want to give you much honor, Dr. Shahi, because when you brought forth those two fonts, and just to be able to go from our Quran, chapter 1, and being able to do the research on it, and then be able to put it in that a special Medu Ray and Kemet form. That was such a great satisfaction, that actually took you back to your ancestors. I didn't really focus too much on the metaphysical part, and I'm glad that you brought forth in reference to, okay, we're not focusing so much on the pictorial aspect, except to make sure that we have the word correct. But and I want to give much honor to our panel and also to our family online. But as the brother stated, it's very in depth, because you have to make sure when you're looking at the different words and things of that nature, that you bringing forth the right word, whether it be a noun or adjective, etc. So but it's so fascinating, and it actually is a great feeling when you know that this is ours. This is nothing that was stolen. We recognize the fact that it's been remixed, etc. And just being able to trace ourselves back, as our prophet had instructed, is indeed a grand measure. And also giving honor to your class yesterday evening in reference to that master question that you brought forth. What is it that you have to contribute or leave as far as your posterity is concerned? So being able to have a hand and just putting truth to power, coming from what our ancestors, forefathers brought forth for the future guidance of the nation, so they won't have to be scrambling as we had to scramble. This is just a grand measure, and I'm just so honored to be here in this realm, in this era of time, in this a special class. So gratitude, because you always demonstrated patience, always been available 24/7 as far as if we had any questions, and just make it plain and keeping it simple. So gratitude more for calling me forth. I just feel really great, and seeing the circle of what we brought forth. Peace and love.
Islamism and peace and love. And don't be shy neither, Moorish kin, when it come forth to bringing forth your transliterations, even when we teaching, and this will actually ingrain within the memory, of our people, these teachings, just by them hearing it, they're going to be immersed in this particular demonstration. So we will be able to elevate our people, by giving them these special drawings. And if you notice, there's a powerful demonstration when you go into each one of these words. If you follow the Unicode and look at everything that's broken down, all this sharpens the intellect, with the words, and it's a powerful demonstration. So the more, again, that we come forth and we deal with these special drawings, the more we're going to be able to identify with what's on the manifest. And that's what's going to basically put us at a level to where when we get into the more advanced aspects of transliterating, the texts that are ancient, we're going to be able to identify based upon this special knowledge. So what we are doing now is just still a part of the process of preparation, but we are now being active with what we have learned in this class. Praise be to Allah. And all of y'all did well. There was a golden cord of love that ran through this special assignment, because everybody was on point. Everybody knew exactly what was to be done. So you all contributed to a grand measure. And this particular class here is most definitely going to be a sure foundation stone that one can build upon, like the other ones that are to come. So it's going to only get greater, so like our family asked earlier, they don't know what they're supposed to get from this. You're going to get it if you want it. So Islamism without the schism. And now we open up the floor to our other executive rulers, other adept scribes. Come on up in here.
Islam.
Islam, Sister Curta Bay.
Islam, family. Again, I'm just gonna have to share this with y'all, family, and with my Moorish kin who's out there in Facebook land, family. Be careful what you ask for, because this is what I asked for. I asked long when I was even in the Piscine area. I asked to be up to sit up under my people to teach me about our language and our teachings. And lo and behold, here I am now. And I want to share this with the people out there in Facebook land. When I first come into this government, my national assistant grand sheik, he would be teaching on Saturday, and he would Mustafa Guatala. I had never heard of that man, didn't know who he was, but our national assistant grand sheik, he introduced us to him, and he was going over these alphabets and things way back then when I come in 2018, when I really got into the government. And he would be teaching and I would be just listening. But you know how you can listen, but you don't really understand. And then every now and then he would hit on talking about these alphabets and things. And then even in our little group, we did the book about the letter of creation. That was the name of it, by Mustafa Guatala. And we did that. And I know it, I can remember just as good. It was on my birthday in September of 2019, I believe it was, that it finally like a light bulb that went off in me about what I was studying and what I was getting. But still not to the depths of where I am now. And y'all know I'm still unfolding in this thing. I'm learning, and had Allah would have shown me I would have been doing this when I got in the government, I probably would have ran. That's why he didn't show me all of this. But I am enjoying myself, learning and being with my peers, my sisters and brothers that's on this panel. They're so patient with me, and I can talk to them, ask them questions. They don't criticize you. My instructor, our national assistant grand sheik. I mean, he just take you and help you. And I could not be in a better place to learn these teachings. And it's just an honor for me. And I want to give you your flowers now. It's an honor for me to be a part of this class. It's an honor for me to even be chosen to be in here. Who would have known, who would have thought that I would be doing this? If you would have told me 5 years ago that I'd be doing this, I looked at you and told you, no, you got to be crazy. Learning a new language. I barely can speak English. What you talking about? Learning a new language, learning alphabets and all that stuff. But here I am, family. And like I said, y'all gonna understand it. And yeah, it's a challenge if you wasn't here in the beginning to get all the teachings that the God man has put out there. But if you had been here from the beginning, it won't be that hard. And you'll get it. The people out there in Facebook, you will begin to understand. But like I said, it took me a while to understand, but now it's coming to me, and it is still a lot more that I've got to learn. I'm not there yet, but I'm just honored, and I thank the great God Allah for just letting me be a part of this. And gratitude, God, man. I just had to share all of that because it's bubbling up in me to let our people know how far the great God Allah has brought me. So Islam, gratitude, God, man, for letting me share. Peace and love.
Islam, and gratitude, God, woman, for this special drawing you brought forth. And there was a time where I would be demonstrating, and then Moors would ask, they say, well, is there a book, that you can read? And some of our people have come to a level where they become content with just having the book. But then next thing you know, you let the demonstration collect dust, you know, and we give honors to you, sis, for staying at it, and the scribe that's on here for staying at it. Because some of our people just hear the amass books, but they're not going into the books. But y'all done went in the book, became the book. As we say, we done ate the book. And it's a grand draw, and we are in a state of progress. In fact, you know, prior to me introducing Mustafa Gadala, there were a whole bunch of different ways that we could have come forth with certain drawings, you know, and we basically had vetted his material and seen that it was right in line with the same teachings that we have within the Book of Fire, you know, and also he had a more massive collection of information and very comprehensive, you know, because I had been studying, you know, other teachings. Like I consider our brother Muata Ashby also a good teaching. But like I said, and you actually studied with them, Sister Dendra, Muata Ashby would be better understood after going through studying the teachings of Mustafa Gadala, because Muata Ashby's teachings, a lot of time he give honors to Prophet Noble Ali, but if you are not advanced in your understanding, you ain't gonna get the best out of it. So Mustafa Gadala is Egyptian born. You know, he has those credentials that are necessary to be honored for his scholarship. And like I said, he's going after that Western academia. That fit right in with what we are right now. It gives us the arsenal that we need to correct the mistakes that have been made along the way. And what better person to do it than one that's native born there? And then when we come back and we deal with the teachings of our brother Ra'u Nefer Amen, because we honor his works too, the Medu Netta. But if you notice in his Medu Netta collection, not near time you see this brother in here trying to translate symbols as alphabets. In the book Medu Netta, it's solely dealing with the metaphysics of oneself. And so when you see a pictorial expression in there, there's a metaphysical breakdown. And brother Muta Ashby is good at that. And you know, some of our people, like we give honors to even the elder Walter Williams, you know, even though he has his own mindset when it comes to certain things about belief systems, you know, we also have something in common when it comes to the fact of understanding that, you know, ain't no decipherment of Medu Netta been brought to the manifest. You know, he understand that Hieratic is the real language as well. So, and he been doing it longer than I had by many moons, as far as dealing with correcting ones on that, you know. So one don't deny the pictorial expression, so to speak, that they come from our ancestors. We're talking about the system, the present system that's being used is not from our ancestors. And so once one get that, they'll come and say, oh, now we get the drawing. Oh, the brother ain't trying to attack Kemet. Why would I be trying to do that when we demonstrating as a commission adept, as they like to call it? That don't make no sense. You know, so we are correcting those things. And I'm hearing this language now being used by some of those I had actually sought in the present and demonstrated. Now you got ones out here trying to refer to those who follow the Eurocentric thought pattern as a Negro peeing teaching, you know, this Eurocentric philosophy. And that's what we need to be doing. So whatever our people study, because we honor all holy books of truth and all books of truth. But like I said, you can't throw something on us and say, oh, Abraham or Moses them didn't exist. Well, Prophet Noble Drew Ali did exist. We know the others existed too, but we ain't finna go back and forth arguing with you on these things no longer because it's ignorant to argue on those things. But we're gonna tell you Prophet Noble Drew Ali came forth, and we know for a fact that he was here. So he was, you know, our Abraham. He is the father of the Moorish multitudes. He was our Moses or Musa, so to speak, you know, when it comes to the aspect of being learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptian as an Egyptian adept. He was and is our Yehoshua that came forth in this new era in time. You see, being able to raise the dead from among our people. See, this is how we see it. And when you go there, that's how you make it applicable. And so it is the same when we deal with these teachings. They come at degrees. Just like we were speaking last night, when the prophet came and he established this government, he established it from the plane of soul, gave us everything that would need be, but he passed that into the consciousness of our Grand National Chairman. Likewise, still working from the plane of soul, we give credit to the prophet for inspiring us to be able to come forth and demonstrate the concept of E.A.R.S and, you know, everything it is we bring it on the manifest, because that's something else that he had intent as far as the works are, you know, that we know the prophet would have unfolded, you know, but he gave it to us to continue to do this special work. And so now we doing it. So when you hear us say the prophet was an Egyptian adept, we ain't got to go beat around the bush in our explanation. Because you have those who claim the prophet was an Egyptian adept student. And when somebody asks them how to explain that, or could they, you know, bring something forth, then they say, well, he never went to Egypt. So they really don't know. That's because they didn't come through the proper line and lineage, though. But that's a whole nother measure. So, yeah, everything we do, we bringing it back home. We correcting things, and we got some grand drawings in relation to dealing with the works of Mustafa Gadala. When it comes to his institution that we're going to get involved in as well. This is one of the great things to come that's going to make us even sharper in these drawings and have the credentials in the certificate form that come with that through that particular channel. So we got some grand drawing that's coming. And the race is not to the swift, but to those who endure to the end. So we started off with a couple of people on here, but only the chosen few is on here right now. Only the chosen few is on here right now, family. Many are called, but few are chosen. So looking at it from this special draw, also I want to show y'all too, family. Finally, you know, these demonstrations was able to arrive, but I had to do my little craftsmanship and put these measures together, and we're going to get these demonstrations out to the mail to our Moorish kin. Goodness gracious. It took y'all 3 months to get these things out to us, you know, the people that we had to order the name bar from. So what we'll have our family do, because everybody got engravers, you know, and you know, you'll be able to get it and then, you know, perhaps take it to your engraver and then have them place, you know, executive ruler there, you know, cherubim, whichever one you chose to demonstrate all as well, you know, but nevertheless, it took me a few hours to get them, you know, and put the name bars on them, but we will be sending them out to our Moorish kin, the chosen few, the scribes, you know, that have already received the certification of these E.A.R.S classes. So these merititious rewards are to be given to our Moorish kin. They didn't have to pay for them. You know, they were given, you know, out of love, you know, so only those who came through this process have earned them at this point. But there will be those who come under the tutelage, you know, so to speak, of, you know, these scribes. These scribes are now qualified, if they so will, you know, to go out and demonstrate works and everything from our particular perspectives in our Department of Education and Truth, you know, and teach, you know, when it comes to these special measures. And those who would like to learn could reach out to those who are here if they so choose, but we really already have the lessons out there in social media. So if one truly wants to learn, they can go there. And if they have any questions, they can ask us about certain things. But a lot of those questions that many had along the way have been answered, from dealing with Arabic all the way up to here, because we got a lot of measures to bring forth and a lot of ground to cover. So we just say gratitude. It's been a grand journey. It's going to continue to be a great journey. We're going to only get greater. So Islamism without the schism. And let's see if our other scribes have a measure they would like to bring to the manifest. Islam.
Islam,
Grand man.
Islam. This is Dr. Bati Bey, Gamma Diver Territory, and I was conversing with a brother last night, and he's like, I don't like to blame people for our conditions. He said, I like to. He said, I don't even want to get the solution. And in that, this is what solution is. This is where we not depending on nobody to tell us, give us something. We are in the creation of it ourselves. And this is where we're looking at actual self-determination. And even I mean, really, if y'all if y'all can see the quantum of the time, space, and everything existing at once, the finished product and the steps it takes to come up to get there, you would, what I'm saying, you jump for joy like the prophet said, because this is a grand measure, and the fact that our brother from the chairman, from the prophet to the chairman, putting out these lessons, then our assistant Grand Sheik doing this research. This is all their personal research. You know what I'm saying? This is what they made the sacrifice to create, and then now it's filtering out into, it's filtering out into us and everyone, that is coming in contact with this information. It lets you know that you don't have, if you were to, it says, if you were in the beginning, you will be in the end. And ultimately we are, creating that how we was back in the day, who we truly are, our own culture, our own scholars, because can't nobody tell our story but us. And we see what happens when we look at the movie, The Gods of Egypt, how they gonna do us. And every time something can't get explained, it's aliens, not understanding that God power is in you to do all these things, you know what I'm saying? And this is just the tip of the iceberg. So with that, I'll leave us a common piece as long.
In Islamism, grand man, we give honors to you, for that grand drawing as well. Praise be to Allah. Islamism without the schism, and yeah, we most definitely have a lot more to bring forth, but we have done a lot in a short period of time too. It really ain't been that long, but we've been through there now for about a good, I say about a good year and a half now, or maybe even 2, as we went through this special journey. And hard work has now paid off, so to speak. And our Moorish kin, is on the manifest. And I want to revisit, for example, briefly, before we go to our brother Marvin Edward Bay, our certificate that we put out here, and we still got to get them in the physical form as well, to our family, because those are coming too, so that ones can have them. And there was a drawing that we gave here that's very important, that go back to everything you just said. And if you notice, it says this meritorious certificate of student adept recognition honor said neophyte. And this was the one that's specifically, being brought forth, when our chairman come on the manifest, because he's a scribe, family. Look at all that he has produced and is still producing. It's almost, even though we don't get into the aspects of saying superhuman, it's something else. How our chairman come forth with those grand drawings, when it comes to the chapters. And if you have been here, as long as I have, I've been here now right at about 15 years and going on some more change, but looking back, going through all that growth and unfoldment, I can see how the lessons evolve. Because the chairman started our family off with giving them, the basic foundation, that solid, rock of understanding, so to speak. And as time gradually came in, you seen him bring Kemet to us right there through our lessons. So in the majority of the lessons in the commentary, which I always tell the chairman is a book itself, and perhaps in due time we actually have that book, in relation to dealing with the commentaries brought forth, based on the breakdown of the chapters and so forth. That's a powerful demonstration, family, and a grand companion to our Moorish Holy Quran, or what we call the ancient Comedian transliteration, or the Uniting of the Moorish Holy Quran, is what was demonstrated. So most definitely we got to give our chairman his flowers and honor him. Also our Grand National Secretary of State and Grand National Treasurer of Moorish America. The whole tribe of endurance, as we talked about before, because all of them took part in bringing this wisdom forth, and they preserved the law. That's what really make one a scribe, being able to preserve the law. You see, recitation ain't no sign of elevation. It's being able to preserve it, to live it, just like Prophet Noble Drew Ali was able to do it. Even though he was able to dictate it from the principle, it was really a part and parcel of his whole character. You see, and we see that by his works, his ways, his acts, and his deeds, and everything he brought on the manifest. But if you notice here in this particular certificate, it says the Egyptian adept, high priest, and temple scribe. You see? And we refer to it as the red fez degree of cherubim. You see? Now you understand why you wear what you wear on your head. And if we're dealing with it from the degree of, standing in defense, because we know the cherubim is referred to in chapter 1 as a defender, so to speak. If we understand it properly, then we know that this represents that everything that is under the fez, because it's not what's on the head, that basically matters. It's what's in the head. So what is housed under this sacred headdress is under the protection when one has preserved these teachings and learned them well, and now you can teach them well because they're a part of your person. So as we go into this, we can see everything here that the prophet has brought. We took from the ensigns of what he had brought forth during his time, and then spruced it up, so to speak, with, exactly the grand measure of what we call our ancient Egyptian Moorish rite of the mystic crypts of Misraim. And this is dealing with self-mastery. You ain't got to go into nobody building. You ain't got to take no oaths. This is all a part of your life sum in living, like we demonstrated last night. Your initiation process, which allow you to come into these degrees of understanding, had to do with how well you study yourself. You see? And so what great examples that we have, in Prophet Noble Drew Ali, our Grand National Chairman, and Act 1, and a host of other executive rulers and divine ministers. So it says here, as we had it, it states it takes an adept to teach an adept to be an adept. Confer, confirm, and conform, right? This certificate of recognition confers in all sincerity the above degree in good faith upon the said Egyptian adept student or neophyte who has earned through due diligence the name of faithful beyond any doubt or contradiction, whereas it is self that must confirm through self-initiation the greatest Egyptian adept sabate wisdom instructions of the true hierophant within, which guides the aspirant to conform to the higher dictates of life and thus self-mastery, right? And then we go into the aspect and we say, well, Shedu Netta. We know that has to do with know thyself, SULTANATE, right? We, as peers through review, being a collective body of this exalted council of executive rulers of Mecca, and if you notice, this is an acronym, which is actually Moorish Executive Consular Chamber of Adepts, right here in the Moorish American government. This is the executive rulers of Mecca right here. Therefore, honor, right, this esteemed Egyptian adept student with the red crown, red fez degree of ancient Kemet as an executive ruler and lord of the plane of soul and of the plane of all things made manifest, being duty bound to the highest aspiration in governing the self according to the wisdom stored beneath our royal fez, red fez, which is symbolic to the same red crown of Lord Egypt, aforementioned above. Yet we must all not fail to remember it is not what is on our heads, but what is within our heads that make our headdress sacred and honorable. And we give honors to our chairman for that lesson. And then we stated, "Hear now, ye cherubim, ye seraphim, ye angels, and ye men." Because we already know that the man acronymically is Moorish American National. The man acronymically is master of Allah's nature. This transcends gender. So it is that man that becomes the swift angel and goes into the degree of cherubim as we came, and then into seraphim, being one with the spirit of the mighty God Allah. Hear now, ye cherubim, ye seraphim, ye angels, and ye men. See, these represent those four quadrants. We keep bringing it to our family, right? So it says, it is good to confer greatness and degrees upon those who confirm through their ways, acts, and deeds that they are willing to conform to the deific will of the great nectar of harmony, truth, balance, right, order, and justice. For these are the quadratic keys of life cycles. And we was talking about them cycles last night, right? To understanding the one true adept chamber, where we are instructed in the chemistry, the ministry, and the mystery of human life, i.e., the temple of perfected man. It states, for our true purpose is self-initiation through the Egyptian adept sabate wisdom teachings of ancient Kemet, transliterated in the Shanus effect, or the Shanus effect Qara'ani, which is really Quran, right? As Sebagatala, immersion into the divine wisdom. As masters of Allah's nature, may we all be admitted into the nearest and most dearest sacred garden of Seket Aru, the fields of peace, Seket Allah of Ra, Al-Sar, and Heru, Ami Abu. Only the pure in heart will be granted to enter the halls of Amenti, third heaven, on Quajet Sanel. And you see, we actually have the prophet's signature on this document. And so what we were bringing forth here is no one is holding you back from you but you. So this ain't no demonstration where we got to demonstrate no secrets and all that type of, it's sacred. We putting it out there in the teaching itself. If it draw you, it's going to drive you. But if your will is sluggish, you can only go so far before you lay back down. And so that's how it's going to always be from this time onward. Even when we long off the manifest, it's going to be those who advance themselves and really want to learn, and it's going to be those, you know, who fall to the wayside. But nevertheless, it's always going to be that vanguard that's pulling from that same line of divinity that unite us in all matter. That's that golden cord of love, by the way. So, you know, this is very powerful, family, just to be here in this era and time. We just thought that we want to remind our family of what it is that we bring forth. So Islamism, Brother Marvin Edwards Bay, you have a drawing that you like to bring forth? Islamism, grand man.
Gratitude. And I tell you, that was powerful that you just brought on the manifest. And yes, I am Dr. Marvin Edwards Bay. Praise and honors have been given. And I just want to say I'm so grateful for being here in our North American government and partaking in this endeavor, because this class is taking us closer, you know what I mean, to finding out who we truly are. You know what I mean? What actually happened, to uncover all of those treasures that our ancestors still are unfolding to us. So it's just such a powerful message, and I can't be more grateful. And as my fellow scribes brought forth today, just further um, inspire me to dig deeper, to study harder, to become pure, to continually purify my heart and mind. But that's the only way these lessons are going to be learned, understood, by purifying our hearts and mind, as the prophet teaches us. Everything that the prophet brought us, is going to enable us to do the work that we are called to do. And I just want to say honors to you, National Sister Grand Sheik, for all that you do, all that you have done, all that you continue to do, and to our Moorish American government, because without this, where will we be? We'll be walking around aimless, with no direction, not knowing where we come from. So if we don't know where we come from, how are we going to know where we're going? We just be going along with what somebody else said. And I just want to say just gratitude. This is something that we can shout about. And I'm just so grateful for being here. Gratitude, God, man, for allowing me to speak. Islam and peace.
In gratitude for the measure, Brother Scribe, and High Priest. We give honors to all of you because y'all most definitely earned that special affiliation, so to speak, of being High Priest and High Priestess for our sisters. This is just a grand drawing where we can learn from each other. And I have a bonus degree of understanding to bring forth as we close out, because now we are at that special point of closing out. And I'm gonna share something from one of our past expressions, a brief clip, and I'm gonna show our Moorish kin something that's very noteworthy of us paying attention to. And it's actually, let's see if it allows to play this special clip. It's mine, so let's see. This is the one we were demonstrating not long ago, recently. Look like it's gonna open up. Let's give it a second here. So Islam, and I put that up there because this, though there's a metaphysical interpretation there, there's something greater at work, in that special statement. That's from our lesson when we was talking about the Septepi Wa'amu, the creation and fall of man. We actually built on that. But there's something to be paid attention to, because we talked about speaking things into existence. And if you look closely at what is known as the flower of life, we want our family to really study the flower of life, because the flower of life at max consists of 19 circles. that make it up basically. And they make the pattern that you see here. And it ain't strange because we see the same thing that is there in that circle that we showed you in the symbols that we was just expounding on. And sometimes you may find one flower, it may be consisting of 7 circles. You may have one that consists of even 3, but they actually change, their form as to what they are based upon how many circles it is. So based upon some in the circles, in the rim of the circle, you have the seed of life. Then based on the circles that are in the other, it becomes the flower in life. And then the other, you have the tree of life. You see? But nevertheless, all of these things come from a seed. You see? So we can see that there are many different expressions here. If we relate this to speaking things into existence and vibrational patterns in relation to the grid, all this is being shown to give our family knowledge on how we are able to vibrate the ethers by speaking things into existence. And after having undergone different things, there are certain ways that you can cultivate this knowledge when it comes to meditation and contemplation. If one can let the peace be still and listen to the silent voice that speaks within, you can actually see, this divine energy moving all around you. You ever heard somebody say they get hit in the head and they see stars and all that? All the while, really what it is that you probably almost had a near-death experience from the blow. It knock you all the way into the plane of soul to a certain degree. And then they say, well, you got to come back to reality. But nevertheless, there's a way that you can focus. And I'm used to doing it. But if you focus enough, you can look into creation and you can see this pattern right here in the form, of these particular points, and they will be moving around you. Ions of energy, so to speak. This can actually be seen if you tune into it. And y'all know what I'm talking about. And one way you can do it is by going out the door in the sun and closing your eyes. You can really see that demonstration thriving. But you can do it without the sun if you have great focus. And it is this energy that represents the life force, and the same thing that you've seen expressed in that Medu feature that we showed you that I was expounding on. So when you are able to speak words of power with these things in vision, you can direct that power to shape, mold, and bring into manifest anything it is that you will. That's the real secret, or the key to the secret, as they like to call it, of the universe. So it's sacred knowledge that's based upon sacred geometry. It's only secret because one choose not to study themselves. One choose not to study the macrocosm and the microcosm. So you see how deep this goes, as opposed to looking at that, what we was looking at in the pictorial form and trying to make it an alphabet. No, you place a constraint on that demonstration. You see, and you can't place a constraint or restraint, so to speak, on the great God. When you do that, you placing a restraint on yourself. So yeah, they have many different expressions, what people brought this forth, but those points represent an energy grid, but that type of life force is always moving around you. And that's why this is called the flower of life. Remember, chapter 1 speaks on as the bud unfolds to show the flower. But if you pay attention, and this goes back to the teachings of ancient Kemet, even though different people are using this now, different nations, these are actually going back to the temple of Alsar is actually where they find the pattern at. You see? So you would often see this expressed in the Duat, and they're showing it here. So once you have that knowledge, you understand that vibration is everything, because that's all this is. See it here? You got your seed of life, flower of life. You even got your egg of life. But if you notice something about this, now that you're looking at it, think now upon the scientific expression of what molecules look like. When you see the structure of an atom, does not it look similar to this? So if you have the ability to speak and vibrate things, then you can move the ethers. I just wanted to add that into the manifest. And that's how you speak your success into existence. That's how you speak as God speak. That's how you demonstrate Medu. Ain't got nothing to do with what Champollion talking about. But they can't teach you that. And even if they know it, they scared to teach it because they took an oath not to tell you. Islam. So I just wanted to say that right there. And before we close out, because we know we normally go 30 minutes off this hour, you know, and all our Moors is spoken. I want to see if our scribes have anything to say about that, and then we'll go into the closure of this demonstration. Islam, family.
I know there's been a few times I've seen them stars, and but seeing those dots, now that you say it, when you do go into the sunlight, and they call it sun gazing. You close your eyes, and those dots that just pop up, you always wonder what they are. And you just thinking it's just your mind reproducing what you just seen, but it makes sense of what you're saying, that it is a star of life, because that is how that infinite creation. If you think about they try to equate it to the Fibonacci sequence, but that, you know, it goes beyond that, even that expression of understanding. And I remember one time that I had they got these 50-pound corners that we use for the job, and I was bent over and it smacked me on my head, and literally seen stars but dots were popping. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't really know what it was. You know what I'm saying? But now this kind of gives a explanation, or, you know what I'm saying, to that understanding. You know, with that I leave as I come. No.
Islamism, yeah. And that's where one is actually being able to peep into the divinity of the universe. You can actually see it. Like right now, if I were to focus, and that's what, if one don't know, that's what's being demonstrated when one go into meditation. That's what you're trying to see. You know, even when you close your eyes and darkness, so to speak, envelops, if you do it long enough, you can see them move as well in that aspect. And once one begins to vibrate or use vibrational tone, we know that these tones bring about shapes, perfect shapes. Because we showed the video before where we showed how sound actually makes forms. That's how creation was brought into being, and we have been given that same power, being made in the image of the great God, to draw from that degree and create something out of our own universe. That's the real aspect of work. And we've been walking around as the microcosm all this while, carrying all this potential to unfold as the bud unfold to show the flower, but we just letting that demonstration sit there in gestation, you know, letting the soil become corrupt and everything else. Goodness gracious.
Islam.
Oh, Islam.
It's like there's a on YouTube, they got the thing with the vibration where dudes, he takes a violin bow, puts salt on there, and how it shows how it the vibration. And even one of the vibrations Chairman got in the book is Benga Asmani, or for the Hindu they use so hum. But even then, if we're looking at the sound fractions of do re mi fa sol la ti do, or what they use in meditation, lam vam ram yam ham om and so, those are the vibrations that you know, kind of, when you meditate on it, they accentuate your creative powers, because you're activating those energy cauldrons, you know. And that's all I would like to add. Is not.
Islam.
Islam, yes, sir. Gratitude. And Islam, Sister Dendra, just speaking briefly, I wanted to say, yeah, them sounds, we put it out there in the video a while back in the ears, and we were showing how it even formed the 4 quadrants, you know, as well, that we have around our flag and symbols, that vibration, gratitude. But yeah, they also like to refer to string theory in relation to these measures, actually dealing with a proof of the creator, intelligent design. So yeah, Islam, Sister Dendra.
Islam, quickly. I would just like, when you were showing it, it made me the flower in the circular motion, and it made me think about the circle. The circle is the perfect. It's the perfect circle. It's the perfect symbol. And then I also thought about when you were showing it too. When I thought about the hair on our head, how it's circles, it's in a circle, and you can see that all in creation. That's just what come to me when you were showing that demonstration. Gratitude for letting me share. Islam.
And gratitude for that grand drawing, you know, and the wisdom being brought forth. Powerful, powerful measure. Islamism without the schism. All right. Islam, Grand National Secretary of the State.
Islam, having already risen, giving praise and honor we're due, and giving honor to our class in this grand demonstration that you brought forth, and to our scribes on the panel. The first thing that I thought about was as ethers change, conditions change. And this is why the prophet stresses the importance of being able to study the self, but also being able to hear that still small voice. And I've had a couple of occasions in which I've seen things floating around, um, not actually being knocked in the head, but having taken a fall or what have you. And it was so vibrational that I actually saw that, swimming around the head. But I also recall, just being in a vehicle in which it was like between a life and death situation, because it was an 18-wheeler and the vehicle that I was in being hit about 3 or 4 times. And it was like everything was in slow motion, and even in meditation, you can see the movement of the various lights and formations and things of that nature. So it's all about when the prophet tells us in Acts 7 in reference to all Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love. You have these God powers of divinity, and in order to be able to use it, because it's not in the possession, it's in the use, to be able to use it, you've got to keep it above the neck. So just gratitude for this grand drawing. I'll definitely be doing some more research on that. But yeah, we have these God powers, but we can't use it as long as we remain slave to sin. Islam.
Islamism. That's right. Well, what we gonna do in closing, we gonna actually run this short video showing our family this vibration as we take this demonstration into a higher level of expression, and so our family can see what we're talking about here. This is powerful, Grand Secretary of the State, and the Moors definitely have to have a knowledge. That way, the purpose of meditation and prayer. We know meditation, is when you listen to God, but prayer is when actually you speak to it. So you got to be able to listen to that silent voice. And like you said, if you're a slave to sin, no, you can't use the name, that has to do with bringing saving power, because you're a slave of sin. You see? So here we go right here. Islam. So you see, family, you know how sound is very powerful, you know, when it comes to being able to bring things into shape and form, you know, and it's the same demonstration when you study sacred geometry as it relates to the DNA pattern. You know, you see the same drawing, you know. We won't show the whole of this, but this is one that's a minute. Well, actually, yeah, this is somebody actually. So Islam, we want to give honors to, you know, both of these videos that we featured, the owners of the content, you know, and the measure is that, you know, vibration is everything. And vibration brings about formality, a form, you know, and so a thought is always, you know, basically the blueprint in the ethers, and then it becomes manifest. And this is what they talk about when they say in the beginning was the word with God, and the word was God. Words are based upon sound and vibration, but it's being directed by a thought. And this is why you see the constellations as they are, because the same technique was used in order to create that grand plane sphere of the calendars that you see on the manifest, as why they are perfectly shaped. And if you go and listen to the sound of the universe yourself, they have videos on it, you'll see the frequency that's being demonstrated. You can actually find out the frequency of the sound that's being made. But it's through that sound and through that vibration that things come into the manifest. And this sound has been vibrating since creation began. It never stopped. This is why you see new constellations coming on the manifest and new life form even coming out of the waters. It all has to do with vibration, family, seeded with divinity. So I just wanted to say that, you know, before we close out, and well, we can get to Sister Dendra Near Bay now. Islamism without the schism.
Islam, Islam, Islam. January 15, 1929, a warning from the prophet to be read at every meeting. I hereby inform all citizens that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any citizen or group of citizens who hold malicious feelings toward the government or the prophet, or violates the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will, and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Jew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the government is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the government. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by the order of Prophet Noble Jew Ali. A holy covenant of the Asiatic nations. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother have given you suck. Let the bonds of affection, therefore, unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Islam, Islam, Islam. This meeting is officially adjourned according to Act 2. Go in peace, Moors. Islam. Great class.
Great class. Gratitude. Peace and love, Moorishkin.
Peace and love to you all. Islamism.
Islamism without the skills.
Islam. We love you, boys. And that's
We love y'all.
We love y'all, family.
Islam.
Islam.
Gratitude. Grand class.
Islam. Great class.
y'all in Sunday school.
Yes, sir.
Peace and love.
Peace and love, Muslims.
Islam.
Islam. Great class.